I'm Kody Johnson with CBH TV. We're here once again with Lacey Stowers of the Ballet Academy here in Moses Lake. And we're talking about Caitlynn once again on So You Think You Can Dance. So what did you think about her last performance here?
She did a beautiful job. If you didn't catch it at the very end, she was crying.
Yes.
And when I had a chance to speak with Vicky, I think everybody kind of assumed she was crying because she had gotten injured, and that really wasn't the case. She was actually crying because she was so emotionally involved into the dance, and she didn't even really realize how injured she was because of adrenaline. And it was funny because I was watching and I said to my own mom, I said, wow, she's crying. I was like, that's so cool. Gives you goosebumps. And,
yeah.
And then they said, what's the matter? And then they went into, oh, she was injured. And I was like, oh, well, was she crying because of that? You know, it got a little confusing, but it did turn out that she was so emotionally involved.
I felt bad. I thought, wow.
Yeah, she ended up getting 2 stitches.
She did?
Yeah, she had to leave right after the show. They had to take her to the emergency room, and she received a couple stitches.
Oh, wow.
So
she's tough.
She is.
But you know, ballet dancers are, though. I mean, they are. I mean,
yes, we're trained to not show any injury.
Well, even if you're not injured, I mean, the moves and you know the conditioning is tough enough to begin with.
Yes.
Let alone an injury.
Yes.
You saw the results show.
Mm-hmm.
What was your opinion? Did you agree with who they let go?
I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't.
I didn't either. What's your take?
I had a hard time with the judges telling Missy that she had a flawless performance, that it was amazing, and she did everything right. And then they turn to Ryan and they tell her, that wasn't the best that we've seen. You didn't give enough, but we're going to save you.
Now, would you have, how would you order those? The couples that were performing on the results show. I mean, how would you rank them?
Well, I think that the judges did a really good job, except for the fact that, I mean, the bottom 3 were very evident, and I don't think that those couples should have been any different. But I don't think that they looked at it similar. And I think with Iveta and her partner, they drew Bollywood, and that's a hard one in itself. And I really sympathize for any of the dancers that are going to have to do that, because that is not very well known, you know, to the community or to the United States, really. And so that's going to be a hard one to sell for all of us.
Yeah, for the folks at home, can you kind of explain Bollywood?
Traditional Indian dance that they've kind of revamped. They've, in my eyes, have Americanized it, because it's usually slower, very intricate, and it's traditional. It'd be like it's like they've taken ballet and have created it into hip hop, and they've kind of meshed the two. So they've taken this traditional Indian dance and they've given it a new jolt of life, and I like the traditional better. And I just don't think that here in America that they've seen a whole lot of this new Bollywood, and so it's kind of hard received. And if you don't particularly like it, which it's going to take many years for America to really get into it, that whoever draws that card is going to be kind of been given like sour grapes, I guess.
Yeah, right. Because you don't see a lot of it, and chances are they haven't had a lot of experience with it.
Yeah, Joel, you have to really make it believable. I mean, with Indian dancing, every movement has a meaning. You know, every finger placement, it represents something. Every head gesture, I mean, it's very intricate and it's very hard to do. And I think Iveta did the best that she could. Her partner was stunning, and that's just from an untrained eye. But I think when Caitlynn, if she ever has to do this, she's got to really raise the bar and really get into the acting part of it to really make it believable. And because it's not just like a number that you do, it's something that you have to feel.
We're going to play another clip from your ballet. And this next scene is going to be from the toy shop.
Yes.
Okay. Can you kind of set this up for us?
In the ballet, the story of the town girl, her name is Swanhilda, played by Caitlynn. She gets frustrated with her fiance, who is Franz in the ballet, and she catches him blowing kisses to this doll in a toy shop. But none of the town people realize that this girl is a doll. They think she's real. And so she sees Dr. Coppelia leave his toy shop where the doll is sitting in the window. And so her and her friends decide to sneak into the toy shop, and they're going to confront this girl. So they decide to kind of play around with the toys. Well, Dr. Coppelia comes in and scares them away and tells them, you're not supposed to be in here. Well, Swanhilda decides that she's going to hide in the toy shop because she doesn't want to get in trouble. So she decides to dress up as the doll. At one point in time, he thinks that he brings her to life as a real girl, and so it goes from she has to dance very stiff and mechanical into now dancing graceful again as a ballerina. And it's hard because for a dancer, the hardest thing probably that you can do on stage is to sit still and not do anything. It was really interesting to see her do that part, and she did it really well.
Now this was back in April.
Yes.
And a reminder, during this whole thing, Caitlynn was in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Trying out for So You Think You Can Dance. So she's doing, her plate was pretty full.
Yeah, she had just learned a whole ballet, then had to go to Vegas for a week and learn numerous other routines, different styles of dance, then come back home and in 2 weeks' time perform and pretend to be, this doll and be a great ballerina. It was amazing. Yeah, it was. I don't know how that girl did it. I called her one morning. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, Caitlynn, you're supposed to be down here at the studio. She had just woken up. She's like, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Oh,
And she was. She rolled out of bed and she was down there.
Now, in the fall, you guys have another performance, and this is kind of your fundraiser that you...
Yeah, we do a benefit performance, and it's to kind of help raise money for costumes for the spring, for when we do Nutcrackers, or anything that the girls, if they need to do an audition and videotape it, that they have a costume that they don't have to purchase.
Yeah, because they can get kind of spendy.
Yeah, the fun thing about it is the girls get to choreograph, and they take it on. You know, it's kind of like a student performance, because they choreograph and they do group routines, and it's all, for the most part, their choreography, and they, you know, they say, I'm going to do so many routines, and they kind of make it happen. I'm just backstage to make sure everything flows in order. So it's really nice for them to get an opportunity to not only dance, but to see the other side of...
Get into that production of the...
to get that experience. And some of the girls who even take like piano will do a piano piece, or if they sing, they'll come out and sing. It doesn't have to be just ballet.
Wow.
So.
What are your youngest, how old are your youngest dancers?
The youngest ones right now have just turned 4.
Wow.
So, they're a fun bunch of little girls and boys to teach.
All right, so we will check back with you when you kind of have a date picked out for that. But just folks, keep that in mind, October, November time frame, and that's usually at the high school?
Yes.
Mostly High School. Okay. Want to remind you guys, we've got the show coming on tonight, Wednesday, 8 o'clock, and the results show will be Thursday. You can vote online during the show up to 50 times for Caitlynn. And once the show's over, you can vote with text message, or you can call a phone number, and you have to wait and get those numbers when she performs. So want to just point that out. We want to wish her good luck. Keep your fingers crossed.
Yes.
You know, I'm feeling better though at this point. When she got over this big hump, you know, when they let 4 people go.
Yeah, that was a big one. I feel a little bit more comfortable, but you know, like I said, it's up to us, and I mean, I guess we can't afford to get comfortable. We've got to really keep pushing this and making sure that everybody votes.
Yeah.
Everybody, even if you don't watch the show, you've got to vote.
Yes, yes.
So
to vote online, you want to go to fox.com/dance, and during the show, there's a big thing right at the top of the page to vote. I'm Kody Johnston with CBH TV. Want to thank you once again, Lacey, for coming in, and we'll look forward to seeing you again this next week.
Yes, for sure.